Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode in our series of shocking openings. Now, I don't know how much of a shocker would that be, but definitely if your opponent hasn't prepared the lines and didn't do the homework about the Muzio Gambit or double Muzio Gambit, that will definitely make them think. And specifically if you're having blitz or bullet games, even rapid games, and these are incredibly weird lines and very aggressive, and black needs to defend accurately. And you know how in chess it is, one single misstep and everything goes out the window. So let's go straight into the Muzio Gambit. Okay, so there we go. We're starting with e4. Okay, so very popular, nothing funky about it, e5. And the good old f4, King's Gambit. So we already now getting very romantic and very aggressive, okay, like they used to play in the 19th century. So the pawn takes, bishop plays on c4, and this is quite an aggressive way to do the King's Gambit because you do attack the f7. You notice here, so that's a key piece in our plan, in our attacking plan. G5, the refutation. Okay, now I know that the engine proposes you guys to do h4, knight c3, d3, this kind of moves, nothing bad, but I would suggest let's just go with knight f3 because that might be just very tempting for them to think, oh, I think I'm going to push the pawn forwards, they're going to play the knight, and maybe I'll just have some checks, black just, thinks about these possibilities. But after g4, you are not to move the knight. I want to make an invitation for you to explore the possibilities after castle kingside and actually sacrificing a full piece on f3, a knight. So as crazy as it looks like, so pawn takes, so let's just assume they accept the Muzio Gambit, and now queen takes back. So what I personally see now on the board is that I got a very active bishop, I've got a queen and the rook on the f column, and they all aiming at the very critical f7 square for the black king. Okay, now the question is, how on earth do we get there? Now, black has a range of possible answers to reply with in this position here. They may do from queen e7, queen f6, queen g5. Now, if the black queen were to get on e7 or g5, I recommend you guys go with d4 because you want to launch the other bishop to capture with. Now, for instance, if queen to g5, you do not want to take with queen on f4. Another very important idea in the Muzio Gambit, guys, is you don't want to trade the queens. So you sacrifice the knight, okay? We'll be sacrificing the bishop on c4 on f7, just bear with me a second, but you definitely do not want to trade the queen. The queen is the cream now, is the most essential piece because it's got motility and it will attack the opponent's king. So don't trade queens, don't take on f4 with the queen. The piece meant to capture is the bishop. Okay, so you'll be playing, we said, something like d4, and just in case they really want to hold on to this pawn for a bit longer, now you can just very nicely capture on f4. Very good, really good stuff here. I absolutely like it. Now, what happens if the queen were to take on f4 here? We're gonna go with the bishop to f7. Absolutely crazy. Look at this position here. Look at this check. If the king were to capture back, what do we think we play? We've got the devastating move, queen to h5. Okay, and that already checks the king. The queen is on the same file, f file with the queen. That's just absolutely game over for your opponent here. So just to keep in mind, very important, don't take on f4 with the queen. Now, let's just go to the main line because I got something very interesting to show you guys. So let's just assume the main line, queen to f6. Now, what do we play? Well, remember, we got to go forward. We got to keep attacking. Okay, so e5 is the most aggressive move in this position now. Okay, doesn't make any sense for them not to take. You're attacking the queen. Plus, you've noticed the queen wants to stay on the f file because they want to protect the f pawn, because they want you to take with the queen so they can take back and diminish your attack, okay? Water down the intensity of the attack. So that's the reason the queen tries to stay around the f4 pawn. So in case when you take it with the queen, hopefully for black, they will be taking it back, and actually they will get to develop the pieces and balance things out and win, because they got one extra piece. Well, you don't want to take with the queen again. So e5, queen takes. So the queen has been moved away from the f file, because now comes the master plan, bishop takes f7. That's a risky business, okay? Given this position with the engine or a strong player, black's going to win 99% of the cases. Well, if you play an engine, they will be winning 100% of all the cases. But you, don't forget, you are facing a human over the board in a bullet, blitz, or rapid, or even online. And if they don't defend accurately, they will land in a big problem. So, king now takes. Notice the king is on the same file with the queen on the rook. Okay? What do we do in this moment? Keep up with the attack. d4, boom. You would say that doesn't make any sense. It does. After queen captures, you're going to come with the superb move, bishop to e3. And the queen can't take it, because we're going to take the queen, the pawn on f4 being pinned. Now, again, you're facing a human. They've got to play very accurately. If the queen touches the super poison pawn on b2, it's absolutely game over. Right, so if the queen wants to take here, you're going to play queen to f4, now with the bishop now, with the queen, okay? You've got to check here, and they have, I mean, it's game over. There is no good moves now here for black. If the king goes on e8, you've got checkmate. If the king plays on g6, you got checkmate again. If the king goes on e6 here, you've got first, queen to f7. I mean, it's game over. It's finished. You got rook, you got the c6, and then queen comes on d5, checkmate, done. So they've got to play, again, very accurately. Okay, so let's just suppose they won't be taken on b2, right? And actually, they've got quite a few ways now to playing the queen. Could be b4, d6, f6, g7. Let's just consider f6, because, as we said, they want to hold on to that particular pawn. Don't take yet with the bishop, because if you take with the bishop, they'll be playing bishop to c5, checking you with tempo, and they get to get more pieces into the field. So you don't want to play now capturing on f4. Okay, the pawn is still pinned, so need not worry. Oh, well, if they take, hold on a second, if they take on e3, you will be having this beautiful queen to h5, and that will be pretty much finished. But now it's white's turn. So what did I say? Knight to c3. Okay, you've got to invite all your friends to the party. Don't take on f4 first because of the bishop to c5, but play knight to c3. Another very good and important moves. Look, guys, you've got to very quickly develop your pieces. So knight on c3 threatens d5, threatens e4. You know, a lot of scary prospects for the knight and for white now attacking, because practically white is very active. I don't know if you noticed, guys, but black is having 6 pieces on the back rank. Very unfortunate and very unhappy piece. It hasn't been developed because white keeps pressurizing and posing threats and various problems here. So they haven't gotten any piece activated. And, you know, even worse, queen is on the same f file with the king. So this is key for white's attack. If, let's say, black wants to prevent, so to speak, the knight, or to make a bit of opposition for the knight to reach d5, now you're having rook to play, you're having now bishop takes on f4, but more importantly, now you can take with the bishop on f4. Now you take with the bishop on f4, and let's say if they want to get more pieces into power, now it's looking really, really nice. For black, you can continue with taking on d5, and if knight takes, queen takes, check, oops, queen takes check, attacking the king, and if bishop e6, you're going to take on b7. I mean, the possibilities for you to keep attacking, checking, and surprising the queen on the f file, it's really looking very good. And it's totally worth it, again, for blitz, for bullet, for even rapid games, if you've done the homework and you know the lines and you want to even further explore and learn more about the variation and sub-variation, I think it's worth getting a shot at it. I think Nakamura played this one successful a couple of times. And look at the way of white's attacking. It's really, really, really worth it. And give it a try, you know, the Muzio and the double Muzio Gambit when you give on f7, it's also when you give the bishop on f7, very important stuff. And totally, totally playable. Again, if black makes a single misstep, a single error in defense, it's gone. It crumbles away. The defenses are crumbling away. All right, so shall we do it again quickly? So e4, e5, f4 takes bishop c4, g5, knight f3, attacking the knight. Now remember, castle king side takes on f3, queen on f3. So we already seriously attacking. Queen to f6, e5, queen takes, and now shamelessly bishop takes on f7, luring the king on the f file. And it's really good to attack. Now, remember, don't slow down the attack, okay? And also important element, get all your friends to the party. Bishop e3, b2 is poisoned. They've got to move the queen away. Okay, queen to f6, and now get the knight on c3. And after something like knight e7, even bishop g7, you could just capture the pawn on f4, and that's good. It's good. You've got ways of attacking. Queen is very versatile, and rook needs to come over to the e. You know, I mean, just look at this possibilities for black. If black, for instance, you know, as a human wants to, if you want to get the king away from the f file, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I got time to get it on d8 or something, it's already scary because of the knight on b5, because this guy will be coming on e. So there is a big possibility that they probably will be inclined to making errors, blunders. Okay, so I think it's totally worth it. So guys, that was the Muzio Gambit. Actually, I think correct would be the Polerio-Muzio Gambit. I think the first recorder was Polerio Cesare. And in the 19th century, some wrongly misattribution to another contemporary player. So Polerio-Muzio Gambit, that was it, guys. Thanks for watching. Practice it in your bullets and blitzes, and you know, come back and tell me how it went. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful day.